Welcome everyone to another day of Clash Royale League Asia. My name is Joseph. Join with me, as always, is Simon on the professional analyst for today. And we're going to be here to talk about Clash Royale and see the wonderful Clash Royale back again to Japan after we've gone through Southeast Asia on Friday and on to Korea yesterday. Now we're here for another return of Japan, a region that we've been highly impressed with from their first showing last week.
Yeah, last week was some of the best games of Clash Royale I've seen so far in this league. There was Shun playing out of his skin the whole time. Just everything about this division has been phenomenal.
It really has. And just talking about the Asia region as a whole, we're going to start seeing clashes between the different regions starting next week. But today is the very last day. We're going to see the regions kind of clash between each other to make sure we know which teams are the best from the respective region. We're kind of seeing that from week one, that Game With might be the best team from Japan coming up.
Yeah, Game With did really well last week. They won their 2 games quite handily, I must say. Not a single one went to an ace match.
Yeah.
And overall, they looked stronger than everyone else.
Definitely did. And they're heaps above the skill level when it talks to the way they defeated the games. It wasn't about just not going to the ace match, but the way they handled them has been quite obvious to the fact that they were just a bit of skill levels above the other teams. And we thought that even FOV Gaming, when they beat their opponents with Detonation Gaming in the first series, we thought FOV Gaming, kind of the winners of the previous series, would kind of have to go toe-to-toe with Game With, obviously winning in their first series. Came back the second time. Definitely did not seem so as really they put the numbers on the FOV Gaming with Game With over there.
Yeah, we were expecting a very, very close matchup between the two, and somehow Game With just destroyed FOV Gaming. It was barely even close. But we can see the tables right now, the standings. We have Brent Esports and Kingzone Dragon X with those perfect 3-win, 0-loss records. Game With has the chance today to join that joint first from each region.
They do have one match incoming for today's schedule, and just winning that one could get them on the leaderboards here, the top of the respective region. We saw Brent Esports coming on top of Southeast Asia with obviously Kingzone Dragon X doing their thing for Korea, so you can just kind of expect that, Game With will be that third team to join in that rest here.
All right. So today's matchups, we're gonna have PONOS Sports versus Detonation Gaming. That's first up. That's Battle of the 01s, right? Both these teams lost their games last week, but they have perfect chance today to turn that around.
I mean, those two teams are the teams that played only once during their respective series last week in week 1, but coming into week 2, they do get 2 chances to at least put up 1 win on the board. And we had teams back over at Southeast Asia, that HQ Esports, that didn't do so well, couldn't get 1 win across 3 attempts to try. And we could see that once again from Japan, because we do have right now winless teams, 2 of them seeking for their first win of the regionals here.
Yeah, Detonation Gaming actually have the much tougher route today to put a win on the board, because they got to play PONOS first.
Yeah.
If they lose that, then they have to play Game With straight after. And Game With have already proven that they're one of the strongest teams in this region. PONOS Sports, though, they would have to play FOV Gaming. FOV Gaming last week did look really, really strong, and they just lost 1 game to arguably the best team in the region.
Yeah. And we're looking at whether Game With still the strongest team in the region. If that statement still holds true until the end of the broadcast, we're going to find out, because we do have one more sighting of them to really see their surroundings and see how they have adapted over the week of preparations. And we're going to see the different teams from Japan as well. So lots of exciting things ahead, Simon. We're talking about teams that we know, teams that we might not know at quite as well. We get to see a lot of them at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of players who haven't played 1v1s today. Mainly because these teams don't want to show everything really early on. So we're going to be seeing probably Tengod from PONOS. We see Lewis today for Detonation Gaming. These guys didn't play 1v1 last week. They're playing this week, and that is going to show us just a little bit more about the team that we didn't get before.
Yeah, we're going to see if that's the case, because A lot of teams that we've been looking out for, has a lot of question marks into it, and just Japan as a region, we don't get as familiarity with the data as we do with the Koreans, and we saw them from yesterday, Korea finishing up their region in a stronghold, and kind of saw, what the strongest teams definitely look like on the highest level with Kings on Dragon X, with the help of Expo Master, really dominating the field there. Yeah,
the Korean teams, we were all expecting Sandbox to be incredibly good, but they ended up going 0-3. It was quite surprising because they are all very strong players. Right now we can see on the screen PONOS Sports team profile. When it comes up, here we go. We have mikan, bouya+Fuchi, Tengod, and Reiki Jones.
See those 4 players are right above, and I see mikan, bouya currently on the 6.6K standings with the trophies. Very impressive with Reiki Jones coming in second at 6.3. But we talk about trophies, it's all that, but we've come to learn that trophy doesn't mean everything in competitive Clash Royale, as players try to sacrifice some of that trophy just for experimental values and the time that you use and the effort you use just to try out different things so it can be more versatile once the different strategies come about.
I don't know about SEA, but in the Korean region we had King's Own Dragon S. Their average trophy count was considerably lower than everyone else's in that region.
Yeah.
They finished first very, very strongly.
Yeah.
So we can say without a doubt that trophy count doesn't matter when it comes to the professional level. Everything is equalized on tournament level. Maybe they're just not into grinding ladder as much.
I mean, that's what you get. Even if you do not, particularly worry about the trophy count, you still end up with an average of 5K to about 6K for some players here. And what we're going to be seeing here is a 1v1 starting off right away. We're going to get obviously the 3 minutes for the both players to select their decks and see what's the best way forward for both of these teams. And of course, with PONOS and Sports and also DetonatioN Gaming, these 2 teams really need a win right off the bat. Definitely we're going to see one recording the win while the other still is going to remain winless there.
Yeah, nobody wants to enter the cross-region play 0-3. That's going to really hurt your confidence. It's going to hurt the mentality of the team. Maybe you think, oh, maybe I'm just not good enough to play at this level. When that doubt starts creeping in, we see players playing really, really bad.
Okay, we're going to see the ban cards coming in for all these players here and see what they do, because we've seen quite a variety of ban cards depending on the strategy of your entire team, really. When it's about how you can move forward with a certain type of deck, and you're just trying to consider that into play in the way you select your ban cards against your opponents here.
Yeah, last week PONOS+Fuchi, who played the 1v1, he banned Collector, and DetonatioN Gaming's Ku, who played against FAV, banned the Miner. So we might see something similar today. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a team ban more than the actual single-player ban, or it could be the single-player ban, and we'll see something completely different.
I mean, a team that lost to Lava Hound and Balloon combo, we call it the Lava Loon sometimes, and seemingly banning at the Balloon was the answer on that occasion. It's it feels like the Lava Hound wasn't the biggest issue, where the Balloon coming right after it, dealing just drops and eventually getting the tower out. Saw the team's really prioritizing the Balloon ban for those occasions. So, it depends on what you feel like you're weak against. And got the one of them right, definitely, Simon. And you got to see the Collector being banned out from the side of PONOS.
Yeah, and the Giant being banned out by the side of DetonatioN Gaming. A very interesting choice. Not sure why you would ban Giant. We didn't see it last week from PONOS at all. Maybe they just know that Tengod is a very strong Giant player who likes to mix things up a little bit. Instead of playing the Golem, he likes to play a Giant up front instead, freeing up a little bit more Elixir to put a bigger push behind it.
It is a bit of a unique ban, you have to say. We could understand a Golem ban if you really have a hard time against the Golem push coming in, but with the Giants, it's mostly about the double Princes just coming in and trying to rush that Golem in, not Golem in, just Giant in a little bit faster. But see, obviously the Dark Prince being nerfed, and we're seeing at the same time less Giants being played overall. We're seeing more of the Golems and obviously the Lava Hound with the Balloons. That's been a thing with the heavy deck rushes, but mostly it's about the Giants being made less of a priority for many of the players here. So must be an interesting reason why Lewis, on the side of DetonatioN Gaming, felt like the Giant ban was necessary.
Yeah, Tengod banning Elixir Collector is actually a very standard choice because it does make a lot of decks very difficult to play. It makes 3M, Three Musketeers, very difficult to play.
Yeah.
It makes a P.E.K.K.A. focused deck a little bit more difficult to play. Banning Elixir Collector, it soft bans a few other type of decks. Whereas banning Giant doesn't quite have that same effect.
No, that's what we were kind of intending at. Like, what is the purpose of the Giant ban coming from Lewis? He likes to play the Dark Prince, and even the Mega Minion. But look at that. You know, that's already a combo with the Giant, and you would feel that he'll be the one to pick out the Giant here. But you saw the most cards he has played were the Double Princes, but it did result in 2 losses for him, so maybe he's not going with that deck overall, and he's just trying to change up the strategy altogether, so we don't know really what to expect from him today. Yeah,
but that was from 2v2, and usually we don't see a lot of professional players here playing the same deck in 2v2 as they would in 1v1. Yesterday we saw 2 Giant Skeletons plus Clone just wiping the floor with defense. It just does so much damage when those bombs go off.
Yeah.
Banning a card because of someone's 2v2 deck just seems a little counterproductive to me.
Really seems odd until we get the final answer as to, you know, what deck is being brought out by the side of Detonation Gaming. Then we'll start to get a little bit of hint of answers as to, this is the reason why he banned it, and we'll kind of get a hint of that once we do actually get into the game. We do have just a bit of seconds before we do get into the games here. As you can see on the timer, 20 seconds left before both teams are left to choose deck for the battling methods, and see the most played cards. Saw that in below for both players.
Yeah, I think Tengod made a perfect ban there, since Lewis's most win deck was 3M with the Elixir Collector. So perfect ban there, just to make sure that he cannot use his comfortable deck, the deck that he feels the best with.
Sure. And you're talking about soft banning when you come to Elixir Collector, just overall, Three Musketeers really difficult to pull off when you're talking about lack of the Elixir Collector giving the extra boost, because once you're done with that 9 Elixir, the defensive opportunities don't come arise if you don't have the extra Elixir, boosting your energy there. But we could see, a lot of different priorities for different players. We're going to see Lewis, now that the Elixir Collector has been banned out, he's going to go a little bit soft, and he's going to go a little bit lightweight when it comes to the Elixir usage. We can't find that out, but I think the players will be done in any minute now, selecting their deck here and get ready to go into the first game.
There's once again just confirming the bans that Tengod did ban the Elixir Collector, Lewis did ban the Giant, and here we go into the game. Tengod is in the blue at the bottom, and Lewis is in red at the top, kind of the opposite colors of what their actual team uniforms are.
Sure, and just trying to get the home and away system correctly, just so that both players play on both sides. We're going to go and starting off with the Miner here. Going to be rivaled quite slowly by the Royal Giant, just taking 1 hit along with the Princess Tower. Doing enough work to get that job done. Mega Minion being summoned against the Skeleton Barrel here.
That's the Goblin Gang there to pull the Royal Giant down into the middle, making sure that he gets taken out by the towers. He's going on a little bit of an adventure here, that Royal Ghost. There we go. Finally decides to go and attack a tower. Electro is and a Bandit as well. Interesting choice. We haven't seen that many Bandits. Miner on the defense, but the Poison takes care of both the Bandit and the Dark Goblin.
The Dark Goblin being summoned there as well. The Poison taking it down to half health, but needs a zap to finish that off for the minion horde there. Skeleton's going to be exploding down on the ground along with a very nice Electro Wizard to get rid of that. Even aggroed away the spears coming from the Spear Goblins.
Yeah, it's very interesting that the Japanese region tend to use a lot of Dark Goblin, and we don't really see that much in the other regions. Like, we've seen it come up again and again and again in a deck as a very strong defensive tool, but he's not very good on the offense.
Okay, we're going to see just a preemptive Miner spawn just to make sure he takes all the tanking away from the Bandit.
Yeah, the Bandit charge does so much damage when it connects onto the tower, and you do not want to take any extra damage at this point in the game. They're both players are very even right now, and just a little bit of extra damage is going to tip the balance of this game.
And we're just going to see the last reveal coming from Lewis there. Going to see the P.E.K.K.A. summon for the very first time. We're going to see the P.E.K.K.A. summon on the other end with Tengod. He's going to be slightly behind on defense here. Skeleton Barrel, I'm wondering if he has Electro Wizard to take care of that. Oh, but he summoned it late! He summoned it a little bit too early. Oh, the Skeleton got so much damage onto that. That was a very much a miscalculation on the timing with the Electro Wizard. Supposed to do that as soon as the Skeleton Barrel pops. Goes onto the ground with the Skeleton, but slightly early there. Coming in, but still rivals a lot of damage in. The minion horde is going to be coming in. Not much for the Mega Minion to do. Okay, we're going to see the Electro Wizard with the addition of a Zap to take care of that combo.
Yeah, Tengod didn't want to run the risk again of missing that Electro Wizard timing on the tower, because that tower would have died at that point. So he summoned the Electro Wizard a little bit further forward, making sure that it doesn't get anywhere near the tower.
We're going to see both players missing out on their chance to get free tower shots with their miners, and we'll see the P.E.K.K.A being summoned on both sides. I would imagine the one coming from Lewis will get to the halfway line first.
Definitely should, but usually you want your P.E.K.K.A on your side of the lane so that the Princess Tower can help out. But it doesn't seem to be making that much of a difference, and the miner comes in at the back. Electro, that's a bandit, and the Electro Wizard did make it change target.
Yeah, it's going to aggro it away, make sure the bandit's the one that you want to attack, not the tower, because 503 on both sides. The miner attacking on the same opposite side here.
Too. There we go.
And that will be the end. Lewis's tower is going to go down first, as we saw the last minute. Miner play coming in with the poison. Got the job done there, just barely.
Very, very close game there. Both players back and forth, back and forth. Anyone could have taken it. Another mistake on one side would just mean it was game over. Both towers were just super low.
Yeah, and it could have been just either way. 500 damage on both HP before that last play did come about, so it really means that, you know, 1 inch of a difference could have made a difference. And we talked about, obviously, with Tengod making that huge mistake with the Electro Wizard, suffering a lot of damage from the Skeleton that were summoned on the ground, taking free hits, whereas just 1 millisecond of a difference could have made all the less of a tank difference when it came to just wiping out the Skeletons out of the way. But you know, that small difference could have made a big factor, but it ended up being Tengod just able to recover through and still make the victory count.
Yeah, Lewis there, he put out a preemptive good game, and that kind of blocked where that miner was for us. I don't know if it'd be the same for, you know, the players in the game, but we couldn't really see that miner at the back because of the good game being called. So I'm assuming he knew it was over at that point. He didn't have the elixir to defend any kind of push, but I'm unsure. It seems a bit weird there to play that preemptive good game, you know?
It is but it's just a way of handling things in the games once you're actually progressing through each stage of the game, and you know that, you know, the two players are facing forth from the beginning to the end. There's a lot of things going through their head as they do that, but we're going to go into game 2 though and see if Tengod can continue on from what he has shown in the first game. I'm sure Lewis felt like the mistake that he saw from the Electro Wizard from Tengod would have meant that he had a better chance to somehow pull out a victory. It didn't happen there. Try again in game 2 here.
Yeah, it's going to go all again. Lewis needs to win this. Lewis didn't play terribly last time. Just Tengod had that little bit of extra oomph on his pushes. But we are going to be getting into this game. And once again, Tengod is going to be in the blue at the bottom. Lewis in red at the top of the screen.
So Tengod not taking any tears from Lewis, as you can see. Stop crying, as he says. Let's see how this goes between the two players here. Ice going to begin us off. Lewis still seems like the Royale Ghost has been very loyal to him.
Yeah, this could be the same deck for Tengod, which would be very interesting. But there's an Ice Wizard.
Already switching it up. Poison coming in now, just trying to get rid of the Ice Wizard so that his units can move in without trouble.
Yeah, that poison just chunks down the Ice Wizard to a point where the Mega Minion will just sneeze and it will die.
And look at that bit of aggro, just making sure it doesn't target the Ice Wizard at the minute. It has to wait so long, as you can see.
Yeah, Graveyard at the top, making sure that the guards come down. And Tengod actually missed his log, which would have helped significantly to stop those guards from pushing forward.
And really saw how the guard can be such a good counter to the side of the Graveyard. Saw that there coming from Lewis.
Goblin Hut will distract the Royal Giant, and there's a poison down too, making sure that you cannot get full value out of that Goblin Hut.
Okay, the poison being set very nicely. make sure that it doesn't summon as many Spear Goblins so far.
Yeah, Lewis has a slight elixir advantage going into this point, but now that the Goblin Hut has gone down and there's an Ice Wizard on the field, he's going to have to burn that advantage.
Gonna have to do that just to get the Electro Wizard to stop it on its tracks, and gonna see the Ice Golem being summoned out once again. The Electro Wizard just wasting its time, trying to chunk it down as much as he can, but we see the Graveyard on the other side now for Lewis. How's he gonna handle these? He's gonna go with the Poison, a defensive one, just to make sure he doesn't take any measly damage from those little skeletons.
Yeah, the defensive Poison against Graveyard is incredibly strong. You might only take one hit from the skeletons, from the whole potion. And it's really difficult to make sure that you don't take any damage at all. But he does throw down his own Graveyard here. And the Ice Golem being summoned and Lux as well. But he is taking a few too many hits here from that Graveyard.
Yeah, the Ice Golem not really interested in the skeleton, as he's just walking on his way, and his way is in about, and means that got a little more turret damage from the side of Tengod once again. Poison being put out defensively to make sure that Graveyard is of no use.
The defensive Poison here, I'm not sure if it's the right choice because there are so many goblins walking down now from that hut. And it's going to keep spawning. He's going to get full value out of these Goblin Huts.
Just get 2 Goblin Huts up there from Lewis, and how can he handle it with so many Spear Goblins just staying right there in the back? The log is going to help it clear out. Going to have 4 elixirs here once again, Tengod, to just get that poison out of the way. Make sure his unit stays safe and sound.
Both players poison summoned at that bottom left-hand side, making sure that the skeletons from both players, because there was a tombstone down there, couldn't escape from that little area.
We see the double summon of the Goblin Hut once again. See how that can progress forward, because still Tengod has that log, as you can see right there, just clearing out a big wave of goblins in an instant.
Yeah, with this many Goblin Huts, it becomes very hard to push forward because the Spear Goblins will take down most of the tools that Tengod actually has.
Okay, he's going to go for the Graveyard, but he hasn't used his poison. Now he's going to use it on the offensive end. And how can he handle this? They're trying to make sure they can get as much damage done, but Lewis having a hard time just nodding his left and right. What he can do with this?
Yeah, the poison taking out the Goblin Hut does so much for Tengod. He's going to be able to push a little bit easier now that the Goblin Huts are out of the picture.
Okay, we're going to see the Ice Wizard instead of the poison used defensively. I think he's just trying to save that for his own Graveyard Poison combo. Down to 982 here.
Both players. It looks like Tengod has the advantage, and Lewis is
last one.
Needs that defensive poison, which he does throw down, but he's still taking some damage.
Oh, but he's going to throw it at the little bit of a weird spectacle there. 157 to 130.
And it's ticking down. One more sneeze, one more hit. There's the log. That's going to finish it.
80 plus damage to finish him off, and Tengod feeling very good about the way he slowly handled his opponent and eventually got the win in a chip damage win. Very good, clean win coming in from Tengod in his first series.
Yeah, Tengod just did enough to stop all that pressure from the 2 Goblin Huts. 2 Goblin Huts, and some points he had 3 as well.
Yeah.
It's so hard. There becomes this huge wave every few seconds for next to no elixir cost. And to push that back, to be able to push into your own, you're going to need a really, really strong heavy AoE push.
And really didn't see that from any of the Japanese players today, as we saw Tengod and Lewis just playing out in a lightweight, just a jab for jab, and trying to trade damage as the time went by. We eventually saw this the Graveyard and the Poison combo. Who got the better of it became the eventual winner at the end. We saw Lewis trying to put his efforts to making that same stick that we saw coming from game 1 from Tengod, but really came to a win over to PONOS. Obviously, Tengod doing his job to get the first win on the board here.
Yeah, this takes us now to our 2v2 game. We have Mikan, bouya+Fuchi for PONOS, and Pirameki and Matsumoton for Detonation Gaming.
Let's see this 2v2 here between the 2 teams and see whether PONOS Sports can they just extend this now to a 2-0 series that could just end it out without even needing an ace match. And we know that once you win the 1v1 and you do win the 2v2 right after, the scoreline does become 2-0, making it unnecessary to even really play the ace match, and we can just move right on to the next two teams.
Yeah, Detonation Gaming really do need to win this set. They really, really need to win. Actually, just this match. Because Detonation Gaming have to play Game With next, who are going to be really, really strong. And they are, if they lose this, there is a very high chance they are going to finish the regional section 0-3.
And Detonation Gaming, this might be the quote-unquote the easiest opponent they might face all day today, because with PONOS already having lost one and really not having won a game in week 1 of last week, just knowing that they might be the ones to lose out this one, then they might go up to a tougher opponent and have even a harder time to pick out another win. So that, I should say, Simon, could end in a lossful streak for the side of Detonation Gaming if they could not find out a win against PONOS here.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the ban cards to come out, but I'm going to guess there is going to be a very good chance that a Tornado is banned. Maybe a Poison ban?
Sure.
Because we've seen a lot of Tornado bans in 2v2.
Yeah.
And a few of the teams have started to go, okay, so we know our opponent's going to ban the Tornado, so we'll try something else. What else do you think you could ban in 2v2 that would make a big dent?
I think it's interesting, too, that you mentioned that. We saw the Tornado and the Poison ban coming out from a 2v2 match back in Southeast Asia we had casted about 2 days ago. And we saw players really just kind of confused about what deck is the right way forward, because literally those are two cards that are the biggest spell cards, the most effective in running down and defending down a heavy, artillery unit just rushing all forward at the same time. Just meant that these players had to either choose one of the two things. They either had to make an all-in push, but since they can't defend that, make your own all-in push on the other side and try to see who can push a little bit faster. We saw that as a strategy, but also at the same time, we talked about Graveyard, just a sudden rush into the opponent base, and we saw that come into play as well. So a lot of interesting spectacles depending on where the ban cards go. So I think Tornado's still the most popular. Obviously, the ban card for these 2v2 variants. Might see that once again.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few times that both teams end up banning the Tornado, which opens up a lot of opportunities. There's still a lot of decks you can do. Yesterday, we saw Double Giant Skeleton Clones. We saw Executioners. We saw basically everything but the kitchen sink in those games. You know what I mean? Like, we saw everything being played.
Really, yeah. If you have 16 cards to choose from and you're choosing from loads of decks, then obviously many of the cards are more valid than others in a 2v2 environment, means that these players definitely have a priority when it comes to just trying to all-in your opponent, just make sure you want to win at that split second. And you can actually see that once again coming from this Japanese side now with PONOS Sports and Detonation Gaming 2v2. That could end it all for Detonation Gaming. If they do not win out this one, PONOS Sports could end it right here with another victory.
Yeah, we've seen a lot in 2v2 actually that structures are not played at all.
Yeah.
We haven't seen many Goblin Huts, no Barbarian Huts, I think, no Crossbow. We saw Tesla. Tesla is actually a super good defensive unit, and I think we might see Teslas in this match today. But what else? Like, it's so hard to guess where teams are going to be making their decks and what they're going to be putting into these 2v2s. Let's see what they've banned. Tornado and Golem.
Golem banned for the first time in forever, I would think. We thought it makes sense. We always thought that Golem ban makes sense because most of the heavy artillery all-in pushes are based around the Golem for 2v2s. And if you don't have a Golem, you're either trying to do a Lava Hound and a Balloon push and trying to get that Rage onto play, maybe even clone in between. We sometimes even saw a Giant Skeleton just trying to clone that, making a double bomb right in front of the tower, get about 2,000 damage on that. But what's important about this deck is that you don't have a Golem-based rushes for a 2v2.
Yeah, Golem slow build-up decks are just so hard to stop. Once they get that ball rolling, suddenly you see things like Witch, Night Witch behind them. You see Elite, you see Guards, you see Barbarians. You could put anything behind that push, and it will deal so much damage. Inferno Dragon behind. Assuming there's nothing in front of the Golem and that Inferno Dragon connects, it's going to take out the tower. Really, really simple.
So without the Golem now, what do you base your deck around?
Giants is a possibility.
Could, but we're trying to see whether they're going to go for all-in push or whether they're going to go for a different outlook of what a 2v2 could look like. Most of the 2v2s that we've seen so far have been literally just heavy pushes on one side, do it until you get a tower, and it's just been a trade between that back and forth. Who builds the better rush has been the kind of the main center of attention for these 2v2 matches we've seen so far from all regions, really. And coming to the Japanese region once again, let's see what they do without the golem, with the big question here.
Yeah, I can definitely see Hog Rider. Without the tornado, Hog Rider is not going to get pulled to activate the King Towers. We could see Miner as well. I think chip decks might be the better option today with these bans.
Chip decks in a 2v2 is something we haven't seen for quite a while, because we've seen very, very heavy decks, heavy as heavy can put it in. Do have 1 minute before both these teams, with PONOS Sports currently leading against the Detonation Gaming. See if they can pick out another win. See how they maneuver to do that. We're gonna find out in a minute or so.
Yeah, his most played cards, Zap, Fireball, and Mega Minion, and he has a 0% win rate with each of them.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's worth noting that all the stats you see are kind of meaningless right now, because it's still so early in the tournament that, sure, he lost 2 games, but it doesn't mean anything. It means he just lost 1 2v2 probably.
So rather kind of a wayward situation when you have a very small sample size to work with. And we only had a week of Clash Royale for all the regions, so basically a day for each region. So now we're on to the second day now for Japan, and see what they can do after kind of recovering back from week 1. Obviously, both teams suffered a loss in the only try at their opponents, and coming back here after thorough preparation and really seeing what they can do to better prepare for these matches to come. Obviously, these two teams both suffering losses on their previous week. They want to come in and try to pick up a win, and in the way to do that, I think thorough preparation definitely was a process to get there. Yeah,
Detonation Gaming have made a big change in their whole kind of team today. They've brought in Matsumoton, who didn't play last week at all. Is he going to be the savior of Detonation Gaming? That's the big question in this 2v2.
Let's see if that's the case, because haven't really got a glimpse of what Matsumoton can do for his team, and see what he can do is going to be the interesting thing to kind of keep track of. Of course, we do only have a couple of minutes before we get into the actual game. The players should be now finished building up their decks, and I think they're just trying to talk it over for the last few spit of seconds to make sure they're ready to go and try to pick out a win for both of their teams now. It's obviously reminding you that PONOS Sports, if they do win out once again, it's going to be just game over for Detonation, and they're going to be going down to a 0-2 record book, something they do not want to be in a situation. But if Detonation Gaming does win, we're going to go to ace match with one best player from both teams can come out to decide it all there.
Yeah, so we have, once again, PONOS in blue. We have Fuchi and mikan bouya in the blue at the bottom, and we have Matsumoton+Pirameki in red at the top of the screen. And there we see the miner, so we probably will be seeing a very chip damage kind of deck here from PONOS Sports.
See the zap coming through, a second zap coming through, just to try to minimize the damage coming in from the guards. So now a lot invested. 4 elixirs invested just for the 3 elixir guards there.
Yeah, the Lava Hound, Mega Minion. I guess we're going to see a Lava Hound balloon deck from PONOS. Not the chip style, but there is a poison.
But you just got to talk about the fact that 2 zaps have been used from both players. So knowing that, the Lava Hound was going to be kind of rather quickly, especially coming in from the Infernal Dragon, to just chip it away. Not have to worry about the zap here.
Yeah, the Inferno Dragon, we saw bats. There was the zap that cycled back in. But again, it missed some of these skeletons. It didn't hit the elite, the guard either. Kind of a misplaced zap, I feel.
See that, obviously, Infernal Dragon coming out once again. Gonna be going for the Skeleton Barrel on front. Trying to make sure it takes all the damage from the Infernal Dragon initially.
Yeah, and even secondary, when those skeletons drop, you want those skeletons to still be in front of the Lava Hound so that the Inferno Dragon connects onto those. But that didn't happen this time due to the Dark Prince just destroying those skeletons from behind. And now we have a very strong push.
Prince, how can he stop this? Nice Electro Wizard to make sure he comes down into play. It's no damage from the units, only taking a few from the Fireball there.
Yeah, that Electro Wizard was perfectly timed. The tip of the Prince's lance was right on the tower. It was about to connect. Down comes the Electro Wizard, resets his charge, takes next to no damage from that push.
And look at the Tombstone once again, just trying to put it on the opposite side of the Giant.
Double Lava Hound.
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting one.
It's a lot of heavy units there.
Lava
And
Hound
Detonation
right there.
Gaming go with their graveyard, but double poison is going to basically nullify that graveyard. And there's a freeze on the top.
Okay.
Detonation Gaming froze that push. Lava Hound still gets a few hits, but everything is going down up there.
Okay, 700 down to 600 now for the side. Detonation Gaming has to be a little more careful. Still trying to push this Giant combo into play, and they're basically been thinking if they can get this to work. Giant is still quite healthy, so I wonder with the Dark Knight, can they make this push possible? But still taking no damage for the Giant eventually, and that's going to be a good feeling.
Minus going to get 1-2. There's a fireball almost down. PONOS have such an advantage in this match so far, but everything can change with just one ill-defended push. There's a freeze.
Wasted. You saw over there coming in from the fireball, trying to get out.
Poison is going to finish up that tower. There we go. PONOS Sports taking the win in game number 1 in this 2v2.
Game number 1 going over to PONOS. They are only one game away from deciding their fate, to recording their first win on the board for this regionals here. You can only do it with a 1-game win, but a rather clean win. We talked about what they were going to base their rush around, and we saw the Lava Hound coming in from PONOS Sports, and also coming from the Giants over at Detonation Gaming, trying to get that the graveyard and also the poison spell, trying to do that 9 elixir combo along with the Giant rushing in, trying to use that as a distraction to make it all the damage. But yeah, we saw the answer coming in from PONOS Sport when they had their own poison to really nullify the graveyard altogether. So 9 elixir used really doesn't do anything other than putting poison damage on the tower. But when you have the nullification of the graveyard with just the 4 elixir of the poison, so that's definitely a win towards PONOS Sport on the defensive end.
Yeah, this is why a lot of pro players now do carry that poison, and that's why we see it banned a lot, is because graveyard is completely countered by a poison spell.
Yeah.
It gives you 1 elixir advantage on the defense, but if they're going for their own poison graveyard, it gives you such an advantage. It's giving you, what, 4 advantage?
It's giving you 5.
Yeah, it's 5 elixir advantage. 5 elixir advantage from 1 poison spell.
And you're just taking a little bit of damage on your tower just from the poison, but that's about 200, 300. It's not the biggest deal in the world, and you can take that for days. If you're going to get a 4 elixir head on that tray, you'll take that any day of the week there.
Yeah, the only problem is you do lose your offensive poison, which is so potent with a lot of decks. You do need that. For Hog Rider, for example, you want to make sure the minion horde's not there, the goblins aren't there, and that's what the offensive poison does. So if you're using it on the defense, it still has a big weighty decision. I could use it on the defense, or I could make my push stronger. But it really is worth just using your poison and nullifying that graveyard.
So knowing that Fuchi and Mikan Bouya, after winning their first game, they do have the poison. If that's the case this time around, that just means that Matsumoton+Pirameki from Detonation Gaming will definitely not be relying on their 9 elixir trade. Let's see the Lava Hound being summoned once again with the Mega Hound, Mega Minion right behind it, trying to push it a little bit forward.
Yeah, Detonation Gaming seems to be going for the Giant Dark Prince combo again.
The Giant is countered once again by the Tombstone. It's going to attract it a little bit towards the pack here.
There's the Inferno Dragon, making sure that that Giant will drop very quickly. The Dark Prince, however, is going to connect onto the Electro Wizard, but it's taken down before it even sniffs the tower.
You see the Electro Wizard take it down.
Same as that Lava Hound combo, actually. The Lava Hound combo didn't even reach the tower.
I don't think it did, and we saw that nullified quite quickly. We were looking towards the Giants, see what happened there, but still looking towards the Miner. There's some chip damage for the side of PONOS Sports.
Yeah, Miner is such a good card here. Every little damage it does is going to help in the final seconds of the game, because it does make that tower easier to take down. As we can see, PONOS Sports towers are completely healthy. They've taken a little bit of damage, but Detonation Gaming have taken a lot of damage on that top right-hand side.
See the Graveyard and the Poison nullifying each other once again, so a 1 elixir trade.
Yeah, you can get very lucky and get 3 or 4 hits, even if you drop a poison, even if your opponent drops a poison. But it really depends on where the skeletons spawn within that graveyard potion.
Yeah, we're going to see the skeletons still putting out a lot of chip damage onto the left side of the tower there. Lava Hound once again summoned for 7 elixirs. You can see the Lava Hound, not the Lava Hound, but the Infernal Dragon shifted onto the left side, so not going to be effective against the Lava Hound coming through. Second Lava Hound being summoned now for the side. PONOS Sports.
Dark Prince, but Detonation Gaming's Dark Prince went down the opposite lane. They could have had 2 Dark Princes and the Prince here defending, but that Dark Prince went down the wrong side.
So only relying on the Infernal Dragon to do the defensive units, but making it really difficult with still 1 Lava Hound safe and sound on the right hand.
Damage.
Still not dead.
Still going. The Infernal Dragon is down. The Miner comes in.
The bat is there as well, just pushing it out, and there's no defensive answers coming in from Detonation Gaming. That means they're just trying to do the push on the end, hoping to get things right, but definitely hasn't worked the first time. Means that it won't happen the second time. So once again, trade there.
Detonation Gaming have activated PONOS' King Tower with that Poison Graveyard, and that should be it. Like, PONOS' position here is just way too strong.
They're still putting on the pressure to make PONOS feel like they're the definite winners there. Detonation Gaming really being handed there of the way they couldn't react to all the attacks coming in from PONOS Sport. Very nice, clean win once again, 2-0, 2-2-0.
Yeah, I mean, as PONOS Sports here, they have to be feeling so relieved. After going 0-1 last week, they didn't play very well, I would say. And then taking this 2-0, 2-0, that's going to give them the boost they need to challenge FAV Gaming later on tonight. And
this is definitely not the PONOS Sport that we saw from last week's games. We're coming into week 2. Seems a lot more prepared and seems like against a weaker opponent. Obviously, we can see that now. We definitely didn't know that was the case until the 2 teams decided to meet. And now we have those 2 teams, PONOS and Detonation, trying to meet up. Feel like they're the ones to move forward now and really see if they can beat other teams as well now.
Yeah, PONOS are going to have such a bounce coming from this. Even if they lose to PONOS FAV tonight, they're going to be able to go into the regional competition, the overall competition, with a bit of a stronger mentality than going 0-3 and being bottom of the table. But here we can see the replay from Game 2, I think. Set 2?
I think this would be set 2. Yeah, you saw the Game 1 going over to PONOS Sport by that crown over there.
Those Lava Hounds just stayed alive so long. There's still a Lava Pup there and 1 bat, and it just took the tower. Like, there was just no defense there for Detonation Gaming.
As soon as you saw the second Lava Hound being summoned right at the 1 minute mark, you saw Detonation Gaming summoning Prince and Dark Prince. This is double Prince to make sure they just want to go on the offensive end to counter back. But that just means that they gave up on defense right away. They only relied on 1 Infernal Dragon to hopefully handle against 2 Lava. That doesn't work that way.
No, and Princes and Dark Princes cannot attack up, and I don't even know how it would be possible to attack up for those units. But they just didn't put anything down on the defense.
Yeah. So really no prioritization coming in for the defense, but we're going to go to interview, see how they felt about the games.
1勝まずできたので一安心なのかなと思いますね。なのでこれを勢いをつけてこれからも勝っていこうと思います。
2-on-2 での相手のゴーレムのバンカードでしたが、ここは予想していましたでしょうか。
いや本当に予想外の出来事だったんですけども、ゴーレムデッキも一応考えていたんですけども、ゴーレム以外のデッキも考えてはいたので、そちらの違うデッキを選択したという形になります。
ありがとうございます。そして、今回リザーバーだった、控え選手だったライキ・ジョーンズさん。
今回自分はリザーブで出てなかったんですけど、そのフチさんとみかんぼやさんがもう本当もうやばいほど練習したので隣で見てたんで、もう後ろで安心して見てられましたね。
フチさん勝ちを確信してましたか。
もう大丈夫でしたね。
さあそしてフチ選手。
正直な話、すべてはみかん監督の指示通りだったと言わざるを得ません。すべて当たりました。なんと、試合の中の指示から息も合ってて、使用デッキの選択まで、いや、みかん監督が偉大でした。
選手として、そして監督として、みかん選手がすごい引っ張ってくれてます。
はい。正直、みかんさんと協力バトルやって、 試合中も死ぬほど心強く負ける気がしませんでした、ね。
さあそして、初戦勝利しました天狗選手。
そうですね。ルイス選手は結構過去に当たって負けたりしているので、今回いいリベンジの機会が出たなと思って、かなり緊張したんですけど、しっかりリベンジできてよかったと思います。
ゲーム1、ゲーム2と同じようなデッキでしたね。
そうですね。信じたデッキを使って勝ったって感じですね。はい。
ありがとうございました。勝利したポノススポーツの、皆さんでした。それではこれよりマッチ2へ、移ってまいります。準備が完了するまで今しばらくお待ち。
Thank you very much, guys, for the interviews and also the translation coming through. We appreciate that. So really emphasizing the teamwork. Really proud of the way they have progressed through the week, kind of overcoming the loss they have suffered from the previous week. Now coming into week 2, looking like a much stronger team than what they initially looked like from week 1.
Yeah, they also said they credit this win to Mikan Bouya, who coached them this week, and that's really important.
And we're going to see if they can continue on, because we're going to go to a short break before we return for the second series of our day here in Japan. See if we can get some exciting action. We're going to get a short break. We'll be right back.